Hey everyone, Corey from CJ's here. Today we're going to be installing a Daystar 2-inch leveling kit onto a new Ford Ranger. Naturally, from the factory, the truck has a little bit of a rake. If you notice with this one, before we started, the front end is dipped down compared to the rear end. So with the Daystar leveling kit, it'll be able to raise the front end to be able to match the rear end and be completely leveled. Let's zip these lug nuts off and get right into this leveling kit. Alright, next we're going to zip off the two bottom nuts to the strut. Next on the list is removing these control arm nuts, but before doing so, grab a paint marker and go ahead and mark the alignment specs so that way you can put everything back to where it was. Now we're going to go ahead and move the three nuts on top of the strut to be able to remove the entire assembly. So now that the strut is out, we're able to put the spacer on. First, we're going to have to remove the guide pin, and then we have to actually put on these adapters. Before putting these adapters on, go ahead and put some Loctite on the existing studs. Loctite will come with the kit. Go ahead and spin these down. And then after you have them spun down, grab your wrench and start tightening them. All right, now our strut is prepared for the spacer. Just go ahead and slide that on top. Kit's gonna come with some new hardware to be able to mount it into the truck. So throw your washers on. And then you'll have three nuts for the top to actually mount it to the truck. Let's get this strut back into place here. And what I'll do just to make life a little easier is I'll put one bolt on just to start. So it's got something holding it there. And now we're gonna swivel the control arm around, push down on the hub, and get those guys lined up in there. Right, and it'll be a little bit easier probably coming from the other side then. Now, I'm not going to tighten these bottom strut mount bolts at all. I'm just going to put them on so it's got something holding it there. All right, now let's get this control arm back into place. All right, so we got our control arm all bolted in. I will say it can put up a fight, so it's definitely good to have a friend on standby. And I actually used the ratchet strap to be able to line everything up to get everything correct then. Now we're going to go over to the top hat here and tighten down the top hat nuts, and then afterwards we're going to torque them to spec. Now that we got the top hat nuts snugged down, we're going to go ahead and torque them to spec, which is going to be 20 foot-pounds. All right, and the last thing that we're going to do here is go ahead and tighten the bottom strut mount bolts. Let's throw this wheel back on and get this thing back on the ground and see how it looks. Now that this side is done, we're going to go ahead and repeat the process on the other side. As you can see, putting a leveling kit on these new Ford Rangers isn't too difficult of a job, but definitely requires some work. Definitely have a friend nearby just to be able to help you out with lowering and raising that control arm there, getting it back into the correct spot. And then also make sure that you have an alignment appointment set up after this, because you're definitely going to want to do an alignment. Anytime you do any sort of suspension modification, it's always good to get an alignment afterwards. So that's all we have for today. It's time to drop a gear and disappear, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, check out cjponyparts.com for all your part needs.